Hello guys, hey, Dale Walker at Holeshot, well used to be, now retired. Trying to get back on Mr. Gray, the CH2. So it's part 9 I think. Yeah, I got my dyno room, man cave, wall of shame pretty much done. That video will be coming shortly. But anyway, back on this bike, part 9, and gonna go ahead and start on the extended rear brake line for the swing arm extensions and the extended rear speedo sensor line. So let me show you the very first step of kind of what I'm working with here. All right guys, just an overview here. So since my bike has the longer swing arm extensions, I can't put the caliper back here yet. So it's unbolted. I held it up in the air like this. Be nice for you to take a couple pictures of just the location and how the speed sensor wire is located and routed. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to remove that bolt. Not yet. We're going to go inside. I'll let the bike down and I'll show you the fittings that we're going to take apart to get to the rear brake line block assembly. On my bike, I got to let it hang out like this first. And what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to take the last little mounting tab off here. I already broke loose the caliper bolts, okay? And I'll remove the caliper bracket because I have another caliper bracket already mounted, waiting for me. And I will probably go ahead and crack loose the brake line here from the caliper, and that way I can put a little rag around it, maybe nylon tie it, and then I can bring it on this side and I'll bring it down. I'll let it hang over this pan or something. We'll see. And there's different ways of doing it. On the bike you would maybe leave this hooked up back here and put a little hose on here and crack the bleeder here into a little holding cup. But anyway, let's move on. I'll let the bike down and we'll decide the next step. Okay guys, well since I got my swing arm extension and my caliper bracket already all mounted and the axle torque down and everything, I decided to go ahead and take the brake line off the caliper. I wrapped the end, double wrapped it, had a few little drops coming out. Seems to hold it. I don't think it's going to fill up like a sponge. Okay, and then I took all the little holders off. These are kind of snug, so I give them a little Windex and pry them off. They come off. And for now, I've just got the sensor wire just bundled up right here. So what I'm going to do in my case, your caliper could stay on the bike. I'm going to go ahead, because I haven't dumped it upside down. I have a little bit of fluid that came out, but that way my pistons still are pumped up. At least there's fluid in this caliper. I have another dry caliper, but I'm going to use my original, okay? And I already broke loose the 2 caliper bolts. So I'm going to install my caliper now, and let me get it up here, and then I'll explain what I'm going to do here, okay? All right, this little spring tab, since I have 2 calipers, I put the spring tab up in there first, and that's what locates your pads. So the 2 little notches right there in front go right here. Okay? What I do is I put this on first, and these 4 corners between it and the bracket, I use a couple drops of super glue, like the Loctite brand or Nap, and put that in there and push it for about 2 minutes and let it go. That way you never have to worry about this thing popping out, because it does. And this is the way it goes. See these little tabs poking up right there on each side? Okay, so when you put the brake caliper on, you got to make sure that you get those 2 notches lined up as you roll it forward and get it in there. Okay, I'm going to set that one aside. I'm showing you that one because I had to wipe off the brake fluid off this one. So I put a little red grease. This is grease from the factory. The front pivot bolt is the bigger one. It's greased already. I added a little bit of Timken red grease, is the grease I use, I like, on there. I put a couple drops of blue Loctite, or thread lock there, and some fresh blue thread lock on the rear smaller bolt. So this is an 8, this is about a 12. This one I'm going to put on there, get the pads in, and then we'll torque this one to approximately, probably, I think about 16, 15 foot-pounds. This one would be 28 to 30. Okay, let's do that. Okay guys, I got the caliper mounted up. Bolts aren't tight yet. I just want to show you, see that? It's right in between that little slot sticking up. Make sure you got the other one correct too. See it right there. It's in between. And I've got the bolts installed and just hand snugged. The rear one takes a 12mm socket. I like using a 6-point. The front one is a 14. I got my torque wrench set to 17. We're going to go ahead and torque this one. I can do this with one hand, I think. I just can't take the socket off for the next one. Hang on. Okay. You always want to go just real slow so you don't over torque it. It's got blue thread lock. It ain't going anywhere. Okay. Let's reset the torque wrench. All right, the front one we're going to do 28 foot-pounds. That's it already. It just bottoms. It actually threads into the housing right there, and the pin just goes through free-floating in the hole to just kind of locate the caliper in the bracket. That's 28. It's got a little bit of thread lock. The pin has some grease on it. So this whole unit now is done. Okay, so now we go ahead and got this tied up. This caliper's just got to be out of the way. We're going to go on the other side, let the bike down so I can work on it. I'll show you what's back there and what we're going to remove first. One more little tip before I let the bike down is every time I torque a bolt, I like to put a little felt pen mark through them. And that way I don't forget. If it sits a couple days on a project, whether it's torqued or not, that means that DW did this. Because let me tell you, you can forget, and then you go, oh, did I torque that? I got to do it again. I always do that on my caliper bolts, a little blue, and I leave it on there, everyone. So just a little tip for the day. Okay guys, this little bolt right here is the bolt that holds the whole brake line block in place. You can use a 5mm Allen, just like that. And for now, just break it loose. Don't loosen it. Just break it loose just a little bit. Okay. And let me get my light. I'm going to come around the other side. Yeah. So there you go. Let me see if I can set the light right here. There we go. So here's your speed sensor wire, and here's your rear brake line going to the block here. Here's the bolt poking out that I just showed you that bolts it all in place. So first thing we want to do is go ahead and break this loose. You can use an open end or you can use a line wrench. Trouble with the line wrench, you may not have the adjustability unless you have a 12-point, but this shouldn't be that overly tight. Actually, I already broke it loose. It's not. But make sure you use a good quality wrench that fits the head properly. You don't want to round that sucker off, whatever you do. And there shouldn't be much fluid that comes out of here, but have a rag handy to lay under the line. I also have some vacuum caps over here. Don't know if I have the right size though, so I might poke one of those on there. But let me get this pulled off, and then we'll take the bolt out and we'll pull the whole line down out of the way on the other side. Okay, I've shoved a rag down in underneath here just in case. I've got the nut completely backed off, and there's no fluid that's running out. I think it's just going to barely drip. I've got a, that appears to be, I don't know, 6-7 millimeters maybe. The little flare on the end of the line. I've got a vacuum cap, 1/4 inch, I think, will slide right over there. So this is a hard line. I don't really want to take it loose here because there's another hard line connected to it, not just this one. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go on the other side and go ahead and take that bolt clear out and pull the line down out of the bike. And then I've got the rag kind of shoved up underneath, keep a couple drops get somewhere. Okay, you don't want brake fluid you can wipe off right away, it won't hurt anything. You just don't want it sitting for a long time, that's for sure. So let's get on the other side and do that. Okay, I got the mounting bolt completely removed. There's a little metal sleeve that goes in the plastic here, so don't drop that down into the abyss down here. So I'm just going to set this aside for now. And then with that, I was able to push down a little bit on the brake line block and lift up on the line and go ahead and put my little vacuum cap on the end. There's hardly any fluid dripping anywhere, which is a nice thing. The reason it's uphill right here from the ABS system, I guess, and it doesn't really, you know, vacuum or gravity bleed down. That's a nice thing. But anyway, now we got to weasel that line out of the bottom. Here's the bracket that you can kind of push over a little bit. Okay, so let's go down below and get that line slid down and out of the way. Okay guys, that's what it looks like. There's the mounting hole. There's the top threaded portion. And then there's the little concave shape sticking up, kind of like a volcano, because it's going to mate against that other flare on the bottom of the brake line, the metal part, with the nut that tightens it down. And the Spiegler system is going to be very similar. So let's get the other brake line out, and I might investigate replacing the speed sensor wire first, just because I am doing that in case it's in the way. Not sure yet. I'm going to take a look at it and we'll be right back. Alright, the speed sensor cable connector right here, you push on this side. Oops, sorry. You push on this side, see it lifting, and it pulls right off. This has one of the push pins. It's like a one-use deal. I got a little tiny skinny pair of needle nose I used, but it broke, but I was able to catch it. And this just locates it, which really does nothing. So this is just going to be cosmetic now. So I'm going to trim this one off and cut this one, cut these both flush for now. And then let me plug in rocks, and then we're just going to do a little tie wrap right around here, cable to cable. Okay, since these two hoses to the bottom of the tank are a real pain to get to the clamps, once I have the tank back up in the air here, when I get all done and reassemble the bike, instead of using the clamps, I'm going to use zip ties. But I went ahead and bought, I used to have these, and I've searched on Amazon, and these are pretty reasonable still. These are Thomas & Betts. This is the company that just sells them. Thomas & Betts, very high quality cable ties that has a little metal tab in it. Okay, all the ones you get now other than that are crap. They're okay for external stuff, but when you can't see it, these were only $13 or $14 for, they're 7 inches long, bag of 100. Can't beat that for the high quality ones. Really, get a bag of those. So I'm going to use a couple of these around this one right here. Okay, that's what I'm going to do next. I was able to weasel this one out of the way. Then we'll trim this off, the pointer and the button. And then I might go ahead and route that first to, it has to be routed around the cable, brake line. So we'll see. This may have to go on the bottom of this bracket. This might not give me enough length. I might do a test run and slide this all the way down and see if it does. Okay, let me get this wrapped up and then I'll do the next thing and show you. Alright, it looks like it's probably going to work with this only having to go down this far. I pushed the rubber out of the way. Okay, so that's kind of a good thing. Not sure yet, but here it is just kind of floating in midair. See here? Grab the light. Come down and across and down, and I just stuck the speed sensor in. I still got some kick, and I got the wheelbase all the way back. So what we'll do is we won't deal with that now. I don't want to button that all up and have to change it. So what we'll do is we'll just leave that right there. I'll just kind of pull it up out of the way a little bit or something like that. And we'll work on the brake line. So we have this all extension, 15 inch, and I only probably need 4 inches. Doesn't matter. When we get all done, we'll roll this up real neat. Nylon tie it, plug it in. If that's where the stock connector will just sit right above. So let's do that last. At least we know it's out of the way. I can still work on the block assembly and the brake line. So let's get the Spiegler line out and take a look. Alright guys, this is what you get in the Spiegler rear line kit for a Kawasaki ZH2. There's the box and the part number. Order a stock one, you just don't add any inches. So, kind of hard to hold this, but this block, the new one side has the cone shape. Let me put the light up here. See right here? Has a cone shaped upward insert in there. Kind of looks like a funnel jet. Well, that points to the bottom of the bike for the end of the new line. Okay? The other side is, it's hard to see because it's black. You can't see in there. But it's slightly inverted downhill. And on the bottom of the stock line, it's slightly inverted downhill. It's not much, but that's how you have to do it. So hopefully it seals. So yeah, that's what we got to do. That one definitely goes up to the line that was supplied. All the rubber mounting things for the brackets are already installed. We'll see if they're in the right spot when you route it. This is a little tool that you can put on the banjo end here and squeeze together, and then this plastic thing can go in between the banjo, and you can rotate the banjo up to like I don't know, 90 degrees or something like that. See if it's a little out of line, you want to tweak it just a quarter turn or eighth turn, just a tiny bit either way to make it fit nice. That's what this is for. So, sorry about the light. So, you got that? Okay, so now what we're going to do is kind of do go ahead and fit it, or possibly a test fit. We'll see how it goes. Okay, I did a test fit, and it appears it needs to be, this is how it bolts to the bike, just straight forward and flat. The line needs to be poking out just a little bit to miss the inner fender plastic. So the best thing to do is just do a test fit. So I'm going to put this in a vise with some rubber or some rags, lightly snug it, and I'll tighten it down at approximately this angle, and I'll try it again and see how it looks. May take a couple tries, but that's before you bolt the bracket up. On this one, it's actually a 7/16 or 11 millimeter, so 7/16 line wrench is what I'm going to use. So let me go do that, and then I'll try it and come back and show you. Okay guys, I have that line just sticking out, so it will clear this inner fender portion nicely. Put it in a vise and briefed on it pretty hard. Okay, and then I got the block started. Put the bolt back in with that sleeve. And I got the block just started. First I tightened it, then I couldn't get this to go in properly, so I backed this off about a turn and a half. See, the bolt's still in there fine, and then you're able to wiggle it around and get it started properly. And now I'm gonna snug it down by hand, okay, and get it snug pretty good. Then I'll tighten the bolt. Then I'll come back and really tighten this one up tight. Did you get all that with me missing it? Keep this bolt backed off. Install this. This is a pain in the ass to get in there with this rubber holder. It fits pretty good, but it doesn't fit exactly like the stock piece. So let me do that and button that up. Okay guys, I got it all buttoned up in here. I was able to weasel the grommet around, have it right against the base here. Here's your stock plug. Then I bundled this real neat for the extension wire. I only needed about 2 inches. And then what's the pain is this holder for your rubber grommet around the other metal line. Is this always wants to turn on you. There is little flats on here, so you can take a 10 millimeter very carefully. It doesn't fit it perfect, but it does fit it. You can see that. Now you can see it. So you can hold that, be on the opposite side of the bike, and reef down on that outside mounting bolt. That keeps the whole thing from swiveling down, because you can't grab it with pliers and destroy it. You can't hold it. Do that with this. So that's real sano. That's all done. Let me put the bike up and I'll show you what I do with my line, which is not going to be what you do with your line at all, but let me show you. Okay, over on the other side of the bike, I got it all buttoned up. I got all the rags off the muffler. Obviously I have to have a special rear brake line that's much longer to deal with my extensions, because they're about 7 or 8 inches. And I overshot it a little bit, but it doesn't matter. I would have still had to not connect it to the stock positions and connectors on the bike. So your line that you bought for your stock bike is going to go all in the stock holders. You're going to adjust all the rubber. The rubbers do slide. You can put a little Windex or something on the rubber and the line, and they'll slip around, and you just have to deal with it. What I had to do here, and again I already showed you the clearance I have here, I had to loop it up, and then I made an aluminum bracket. See it right there? Yeah. Made a nice aluminum bracket, and I cut it in an angle. I even have a little stop on the back so this thing can't rotate. If you see it right there. So that's what I came up with. It took me several hours dinking around. I'm not kidding you, like a lot of hours back and forth. This is the kink spot. So what I did is, once I got it the best I could, I put the bike down on the lift, took the stand out, and then I put soft ties here into my lift, and I bottomed out the shock with tie downs to see how bad it was going to be and where the bow's going to be. So it's all right here. So and that'll change a little. If I have to put the wheel forward, I'll have to slide the whole thing a little more. It's totally different than a stock motorcycle. So once I get the gearing right, this is the stock gear. Like I say, this thing would go 164 or 5 and 5th right now, but it still may be too low geared to keep the front end on the ground. So if that ends up being the case, I'll probably add 1 tooth on the front. Then it won't affect my wheelbase too much. You know, hopefully only 1 mark or something. Don't know. So gonna start with the stock gear, see if I can ride the thing. Also what I did here to get this a little less kink when it completely is bottomed on the shock, which I don't think it'll do. I'm gonna crank the shock all the way down. I'm not that heavy. Is I made a little Delrin spacer. You see it in there in the bottom? I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there's a little spacer under there. Okay, and then I made 2 flats on it. If you see right there, there's a flat on it. See right there? And a flat on the other side. And then what I did is I took my hard dead blow. Where's my finger? Right there, and I go ahead and bent this, tap this down so I'm on the flat there, so this whole little bracket cannot twist. And then the other little bracket here that goes on here, I pushed it out so it can't go in and it can't go out, to keep everything, when this flexes, you don't want this against the pipe. So now I've got that going on there, and turned out pretty good. I went ahead and put the finalized line on and the alignment I wanted, torqued it to 15 foot-pounds with the new sealing washers that come with the kit. Got these on here snugged down now, speedo sensor wire. See, marked them again, that they're tight, torqued, and just snugged. One worrisome thing I had was, because the stop for these swing arm extensions that I've been playing with have just a bullet-shaped part, the caliper will pivot a little bit, right, when you shove it all the way up and back. And before I get too carried away, I wanted to make sure that it's not going to run into the speedo sensor right there. See that clearance? Yeah, it's about a 1/4 inch. So what I did is I loosened the bolts. I have the chain all adjusted for now, just preliminary till I'm running on the dyno and breaking the chain. I ran these bolts, nuts all the way back, bottomed them out, ran the bolts all the way forward on each side, backed the axle off again, and I gently slid it forward. And watch this. And today was my lucky day. It clears. It's got about probably an 1/8 inch of clearance, maybe a little more than an 1/8 inch when it's all the way up, where I'll never have it no matter what gear I put on it. Okay, so kind of lucked out on that one, and that's because this is way back here, closer to the center point of the axle, not up here. And this holder still clears, which is nice. So that's all buttoned up. So now we're going to do the next final step here and bleed it. I like vacuum bleeding. I have a handheld power bleeder, air bleeder. There's several ways you can bleed these things. A pump like a Mighty Vac, vacuum bleed. Some guys do reverse bleed, where you push the fluid back up into the reservoir this way. I'm just going to do a vacuum bleed, my normal way I normally do it. So we'll get set up and we'll do that next. And what I usually like to do is maybe pump the brake up, and after it's totally bled, and let it sit all night. And then I'm not putting the bike together until I absolutely verify I have no leaks, because what a pain to take this whole thing apart if you had a leak. So that's it. Go to the next step, bleeding. Don't bleed too much. Okay, here we go. Okay guys, this is my vacuum bleeder, Bike Master. Is there a part number on here? I don't know. It looks like that. Just a copy of a bunch of them. They work fine. You can get them on Amazon or whatever for under $50. I think it's like 35 bucks. Worth its weight in gold. So I got it hooked up to my air compressor. Got a little nylon tie here. Still going to unscrew the cup. Found a brand new 10 millimeters. Not a 9 on here. It's a 10 on the Kawasaki. I put a flat on it. Brand new one out of a toolkit. I always save those for something. I got a 1/4 turn. We'll see if that's enough. It should be. And it's still thick enough where if I don't mess with it, it doesn't fall out. And there's a variety of caps that come with the Bike Master bleeder, and this one fits nice and snug. We'll see if it falls off. I don't think it will. Of course, the wrench can't be too thick, can't be too thin, or it will make it fall off. So yeah, I got a little flat on there, Alsano, 1/4 turn. Okay, keep it snug. Then coming up to here, I've got the cap off. I've got the little rubber plunger out. And that's what I got there. I already got rags stuffed around here. And I would still like to maybe take the little cap and just lightly set it on here with like one thread in case it... Oh, guard dog. Cooper, no. Okay, let me fire this thing up, shut the dog up, and we'll get started. Good boy, kill him. Okay guys, ready to get started. Got it on here, got my compressor all pumped up. Let's break this loose, see if we're successful or not, if everything flies apart. Well, you need a little more. There we go. It's finally doing a fluid drop on the reservoir here. It just now started, so. Okay, we'll take this cap off. I don't think that's it. I think it's gonna. Probably have to do some manual bleeding. This bleeder sucks really hard, but it's got to get all through the ABS line. So I'm going to snug this back down and try some manual bleeding. Let me get that ready and we'll do that right now. All right, normally you don't really have to hold the pedal down, but I held the pedal down to push the plunger up in the master cylinder here itself. I have this broke loose and backed off a quarter turn because I'm doing this by myself with my buddy holds the camera. So I got the pedal fully compressed, and now we can see the level. I'm going to stop about there, about a quarter inch, an eighth of an inch above the low line. I'm using Galford .4 just because I have a case of it. It's good. It's good brake fluid. Good for what I'm doing. So what we'll do, gently let that plunger come up. We'll go ahead and refill it. Start over again. So be right back. Okay, we finally got some fluid showing up. I refilled it all the way up now. See it up here? Oh, look at that. Kind of solid. See the bubbles come right there? Looking pretty good. What we'll do is I'll do this at least one more time. I don't care about wasting some fluid. And then we'll manually bleed it the old-fashioned way. Okay, so let's go ahead and fill that up. You can keep the camera on, Kurt. Watch Dale overflow it and spill it. Honey, quit messing with the dog. He's very noisy when he starts squeezing the bowl or barking. That's Super Cooper, my crew chief, and my wife. Cleaning. Okay. Very slowly on the plunger, you have a geyser. Yeah, it's nice and solid. Pretty good. All right. Let me shut the camera off. Be right back. We'll do it manually. All right, old-fashioned method. I got the cap just barely on, so a little geyser's not going to blow out everywhere. Got the bleeder tightened down. I just did it one pump. It's already got good pressure, really. Anyway, pump it up, hold it, old-fashioned way. Break it loose. And there goes the pedal. Keep an eye on the line for bubbles. Keep an eye on your level. I got it right to the top, so we should be able to do this a few times. Okay, we go here. About a quarter turn, it seems, does it? See, there goes the pedal. Maybe a few. Make sure you snug it before you let off the pedal. Keep an eye on your level. Pump it, push it hard, break it loose. Looking good. We're about halfway down the reservoir right now. I don't think it's going to get much better, but let's go ahead and I think I could do this without a funnel. Let's just do it one more time. You never know when there could be a little bubble trapped. And then we're going to do a little trick. Okay. Oh, see the little bubbles? Oh, it's just bubbles there. Oh, just look at the line, Kurt. Yeah, it's pretty good. Look at that. See, some of those too, it could be sucking in through the threads on the bleeder nipple. That's pretty good. I'm getting close to the bottom. I think that's about the best you're going to get it. It's got a nice hard pedal. Okay. Okay, let me refill it. You don't want to go too high because your rubber still got to go in there. So you don't want to go, you know, you want to go a little at a time and put your rubber plunger in there because these expand. And if you get it all the way up to the top right now and stick this thing in, or it's a little overfilled, you're going to puke it everywhere. So keep an eye on that. Try it halfway, go up a little at a time, and keep trying it. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure that inside the cap is perfectly dry with a clean paper towel, and also the rubber face of the plunger and the top. Sometimes if you got fluid in between it, it'll still leak. So let me get this topped off. Let me get this snugged down. That's snugged down, and I'm going to show you my last little trick that I do, and then we'll check for leaks. All right, guys, after you snug down your bleeder, there's always going to be fluid right up to the top, and when you put the top on, it could squirt out. So I always twist the end of a paper towel, little teeny point, and I just go in and just suck it up a little bit, and then wipe it off with a clean, dry, and this is snug. That's done. All right, the last trick that I always do, whether it's bleeding your front brake, clutch, or rear, is after it's completely done, I pump up the pedal or the lever. The lever I would pump up and use nylon ties around it. You pump, 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 hold it tight, and nylon tie it to the grip and let it sit all night. That will let any little bubble come up and bubble up out of the reservoir. Same as the clutch. So I'm doing the same thing here. I put a little hook on my lift. Didn't want to wreck my new paint. And I got a little jaw tie down, and I pumped up the brake, and it's bottomed, and that's going to live all night. And now I already looked once, but let's take a look. I looked once already, and looks like we're in good shape. I don't see any leaks whatsoever. This is the main concern now before you put this frickin' bike back together, because this bike has a lot of parts and pieces to take back apart if you got a leak. Okay, so that's all good. The banjo I already checked earlier. It's all good. 15 foot-pounds. The bleeder's fine. And then here looks like we're all completely dry right there. Okay, so what we'll do is I'm going to let this sit all night long with that pedal compressed. Not only to get out any micro little bubbles, which I don't think I have, but to see if we got any leaks at all. And again, you can see down in there as well. If you can see it down there. Am I pointing at the right spot? Yeah, on the bottom there. See the fitting down there? Just the edge of it. It would be on the outside if it was leaking. So, anyway, so what you want to do now is totally reassemble your bike in the reverse order. Watch my part 8, the one before this, of pulling this thing down. If you didn't see it, I'll put a link in for you to that one so you don't have to hunt for it in the description of this one here. So yeah, so this is going to be pretty much done for now. Let me end the video here in a second and tell you what's next. All right, last thing I got to do is put the little cover on here. I don't know what this stupid thing's supposed to do, protect it in a crash. I mean, whatever. But anyway, I'm not doing that now. I'll do that tomorrow. So this is going to end the video. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to drop the oil and filter. Probably do that now and let it sit for 24 hours. And going to pull the clutch cover, and we're going to install the 3 heavy-duty replacement clutch springs. Okay, these bikes have kind of a lock-up ramp in the back of the clutch basket, but it will help just taking off from a dead stop of it engaging better, and probably till those come in and lock in the clutch from burning the clutch up is easy. So that's what I'm going to do next. So that'll be the next one. So this is going to end this part 9. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. All along for the ride. I'm trying, man. My hair's even growing back a little from my chemo, just a little. But I have no energy, but I'm trying. So I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please give me a thumbs up and hit the bell and comment below and all that good stuff, okay? I'll see you later. Till next time.